Even more World Cup qualifying drama. Barcelona plans Salah swoop, Neymar to miss Super Classico, and a transfer roundup all coming up in the next few minutes. As I'm your host, Matt Frolick, you are the One Footballers, and this is the Daily News. So first up, and it was another night of dramatic World Cup qualifying action. Maybe not necessarily in the actual result, but certainly in the scoreline when it came to San Marino against England, as England, for the first time since 1964, hit 10 goals in a game. They've hit double figures for the first time in a very long time since their 10-0 victory over the USA. And well, Harry Kane was at it again. Fresh from a hat-trick against Albania on Friday night, he managed to grab 4 in the first half against San Marino as they went in 6-0 at half-time. And this broke a whole host of records. He's the first player to score 4 goals for England since Ian Wright in the early 90s. He's the first player to score back-to-back hat-tricks for England in a very, very long time, only the 4th player to do so. And on top of all this, he set a new goal-scoring record for England goals in a calendar year now, which stands at 16. He is, of course, on 48 goals for England and only 6 away from completely smashing the record held by Wayne Rooney. On top of this, he overtook Gary Lineker last night, and honestly, the records keep tumbling at England level, but when it comes to Tottenham, he's not exactly had the greatest start to the season. Who knows, maybe this could be the kickstarter and we'll see that regular Harry Kane that's been tearing up Premier League defences for the last few years in the upcoming matches. But the drama does not stop there. In the last few days, we've had the likes of Zlatan and Sweden drop into the World Cup playoffs. They're going to have to earn their place in the World Cup next March. The same thing goes to Cristiano Ronaldo and Portugal, as we saw Serbia nick a last-minute winner. And on top of all of this, as well as Poland and Lewandowski entering the playoffs last night because of England's win, there's also Italy. That's right, Italy, the European champions who didn't even qualify for the 2018 World Cup after they lost to Sweden in the playoffs, are going to have to do it all over again. Last night in a draw against Northern Ireland, it meant that Roberto Mancini's side drew the last 2 games of the group. Coupled with Switzerland's victory, it now means that they will have to face the dreaded playoffs, and the draw for that is going to be very, very soon. Maybe, just maybe, we could see the European champions becoming champions. Either side are failing to qualify for a World Cup. Seems a little bit bizarre how they couldn't continue this form, especially when you consider the fact they were unbeaten for so long. But hey, that's football, and you never really know what's going to happen. Oh, and actually, one more quick record broken last night by Harry in an England shirt, but not Harry Kane. Harry Maguire, with his goal, he has now scored 7 for his country, and that makes him the highest scoring centre-back in England history. Next up then, and to Mo Salah's future at Liverpool, and apparently there are one team that wants to sign him at all costs, and it's Barcelona. This news just keeps flying around. Barcelona want to sign this player, they want to sign that player. They don't really have much money. I have no idea how they're planning to sign the hottest striker in the moment at world football. Possibly one of the greatest strikers of the last few years. The rate that he is scoring at is ridiculous. Liverpool obviously want to tie him down to a new contract. They haven't managed to just yet, but he wants a lot of money per week. They're just going to end up in the same situation they were in with Griezmann and Messi. Now, Barcelona have managed to massively reduce their wage bill by getting rid of Griezmann and Messi, like I mentioned. They're well underneath the salary cap and everything's fine from the wage point of view. From the transfer budget point of view, it's not going so good, and there's no way that they'll be able to bring in Salah unless it's on a free transfer and his contract doesn't run out for another 18 months. Surely this one isn't going to happen. But one deal which may happen is Coutinho staying at Barcelona. Now, there's been loads of talks that he's eventually going to be leaving the club. He's on quite a hefty wage and really hasn't provided everything that they paid for when they paid a ridiculous amount of money to Liverpool to bring him to the club. With a little bit of a loan spell to Bayern Munich in between, he's come back and I know Barcelona have been poor this season, but Coutinho hasn't exactly certainly been the player that we saw a few years ago. But he wants to stay, and that is because new manager Xavi is giving everyone a fresh chance. It's a clean slate for everybody, and who knows, maybe this could be a turning point in the Brazilian's Barcelona career. And lastly, certainly if there was any thought that Coutinho could be used in a potential swap deal for Salah, I don't think that one's going to happen. Not too sure Liverpool will be too keen on taking him back, even if it means they're losing Salah and they need a replacement. Right there, moving on and talking about unbelievably good attackers and talking about Philippe Coutinho's Brazilian side, they will be without Neymar for the Super Classico. Tonight sees the end of the World Cup qualifier, certainly the World Cup qualifier stage, and there's a Super Classico. There's Brazil against Argentina, and Argentina need to win to make it through. Brazil have already qualified, but they'll be doing this game without Neymar, whereas Argentina will have Lionel Messi fit and ready. Of course, we love it when those two countries face off against each other. There's rich footballing history, and when two of the best players in the world do it as well, it's really entertaining to watch. But with one eye on a PSG against Manchester City Champions League match, it looks as though Neymar's team have decided that his muscle injury isn't worth risking, and he'll be returning to his French club. But before we get into the transfer roundup, we've got a special surprise for you, and it is this: the brand new OF01 ball. This is now available on the OneFootball store, but don't miss out because there are only 120 of them. It is limited edition football that is very, very nice, so make sure you do not miss out and play in style. Thank you very much, producer Ryan. Right then, let's move on to this transfer roundup. And AC Milan, Chelsea and Atletico Madrid are all interested in Mohamed Ali Cho, the 17-year-old wonder kid from Angers in France. Andy Carroll has a new club and he signed a 2-month deal with Reading in the Championship in England. Real Madrid are planning a 1-year extension again for midfielder Luka Modric. And lastly but not least, Inter Milan defender Stefan de Vrij has said that he is looking to leave in January and could be heading to Tottenham to follow former manager Antonio Conte. That's all from me now. Make sure you check back tomorrow for loads more OneFootball content.